Okay. Welcome everyone to this Exploring Nature tutorial. I'm going to go through all the programming that you have access to and how to get onto the site and answer any questions that come up. It's a very quick tutorial, only lasts about 20 minutes, but it should get you through the whole site and help you get used to using it. First, I just want to do a quick login, just to show everyone how works. And this, since we've redone the site, the password has become case sensitive, whereas before it wasn't. So people who've been struggling with that a little bit, oh, look, I must have done it wrong as well. That's why. And that's something important to note, is that you have to be able to do the case sensitive logins. That's so interesting. Now I can't even get into my own site. How embarrassing. Try one more time. Just make sure I did it right. All looks good. Okay, phew. Okay, so now once we're in the site, you can see that you have, this is your account, and you can see this is your dashboard. And there's two things that are important to note about my account, which is that if you order anything, any of the downloadables on the site, you can always access them in your account dashboard. So you can click on orders, and anything you've ordered, you can view it, you can download it again. So that's a really great thing to have, so that you don't lose anything that you've already downloaded. You can also click on, so if you go back to dashboard, you can also, change your password here, or, change your billing address and things like that, and look at your different kinds of activities on the site. And, just essentially it's your program. Okay, so I'm going to click into the index. Okay, so our index has not changed from what you may have been used to before, except for the fact that all the little illustrations are gone on the side, but the list is still the same. And this allows you to go through life science resources, earth science and physical science, and then straight activities and nature arts. And then at the bottom of the site, you can scroll down to everything about the human body for K through 12, and also the next gen science standard related content, and some testing and performance tasks and posters as well. So I'm going to just start by opening up one of the more commonly used databases, which is the biomes. And when we have a whole array of biomes, each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each of these 10 different biomes also has inside of it several different biomes. So here's the deserts of the world, and you can see there's some related activities that relate to those biomes. And if you click on the biome itself, it'll open up that biome with different resources for, different age groups. Generally, range, habitat, animals are found there. Links to those animals in the database so you can learn about them. And plants, and 3 different levels of posters for different age groups. It also is linked on the top to habitat labeling, habitat coloring, habitat drawing, and different activities and information about those habitats. So you can find all of those. There's also always a go back to section. So you can go to the index, you can go to the big topic, or you can go right back to biomes and see all the different biomes that are there. So that's one of the ways that the site is kind of set up. As you move your way through the site, I'm going to just start on the left in life science. You can see the different big topics: adaptation and natural selection, wildlife, classification, food webs, life cycles. I'm going to just click on all the animals because that includes the different subgroups, the classes. This has all the animals we have. We have over 2,000 animals, and I'm going to click on mammals first. This is broken down by classes, but for the younger kids, it won't matter. They're just going to click on the pictures and what mammals are. For the older kids, it helps them learn classification a little bit. So first of all, we have over 200 mammals and a lot of related links to just mammals in general. But if you're looking for a specific mammal, you can use these alphabetical links. So I'm going to say tiger. I'm going to click on T. That'll bring you down to tiger. When you open tiger, it's going to give you a whole array of resources just for that one species. So here is the range, habitat, body traits, habits, diet, predators, reproduction, its lifespan, and its conservation status. You can access a diagram of the features of it, and occasionally there's a photograph, and there's always the classification so you know what your species, your animal actually is. And it connects you also to drawing a tiger, coloring a tiger, labeling a tiger, and just more tiger information. So there's all these resources that were linked to in that particular thing. If you click up on top back to all animals, you can see that you can go to insects this way and get to everything we have on insects. Again, many, many different kinds of insects alphabetized at the top. Lots of related links. And this is just our whole array of insects like that. So this allows kids that are doing their animal reports, older kids that are doing research on biomes and different animals. All the information is set up under this classification setup. Going back to the index, you can see that we also have some interesting, not necessarily used by elementary, but interesting kinds of resources that might be used by older kids. Kids are interested in veterinary medicine, a lot on frog dissection, so you can do that without having to actually dissect a frog. And so there's lots of ancillary kind of content about animals. We also have a lot on classification. I know that's not a main topic in K through 12, but it's, if someone's teaching zoology, if someone's teaching different kinds of animal groups, like about reptiles and about mammals, they can open up one of these sections and see the different age groups have different resources. So here's for younger kids, it shows the traits of reptiles. As you get into the older content, it's more in text form. And then there's just some coloring there and some other links to things related to reptiles. And of course, the things that at the top, labeling, coloring, drawing, quizzes and posters, and just the breakdown of reptiles in that way. Going back to the index, you can just scroll through and see the different things: nature trail building, gardening with kids, sharks and rays, reptiles. These are all under the animals up top as well. State and animal habitats. You can find the animals of your state, trees, unicellular animals, wildflowers. I'm going to just click into plant science for a second. So you can see we have all this content about, what plants are, photosynthesis, cellular respiration for older students. And a lot of it is, you can see on the side here, you can see the age group related to the Next Gen Science Standards. So this is a kindergarten, this is a 5th grade, this is a K3. We also have 6 through 8 and high school as well, and that's usually in the title, so you can kind of see it here. This is a Next Gen for 6-8. This is a K2. Let's see its picture I can see. Okay, under earth science and physical science, more content in that way. Ecology and earth science is a big topic. It has a lot of next gen standards that can be met in here. Cycles of matter for 9th through 12th, energy and chemical processes for 6th through 8, but also just the basic younger stuff as well. All about the atmosphere, forest succession, glaciers, different cycles, the different earth cycles, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, water cycle, tides and phases of the moon, what is ecology, and different kinds of keystone species. So that's a little bit more of an advanced topic, but definitely a whole array of different subjects there. If you go down through this, you have environmental issues, we have weather, we have space, we have tides, we have all the different habitats, and of course, habitats around the world: Canada, China, India, Mexico. I'm going to keep moving because we don't have a ton of time, but under activities and experiments, we have a whole section, and these are just activities and experiments. So this has every section that you see on the site broken down by its activities. So if you were interested in birds, there's bird activities. And these are things like matching, reading, long answer, short answer, a little bit of things like, counting and identifying birds by their song. So there's some that are a little bit more serious science and some that are just activities that can be used to ancillarily about the topic. I'm going to just click on the anatomy. We have a lot of anatomy, but these are specific activities that relate to anatomy, and there's just a whole array of them for the different organ systems. And we'll look at the anatomy before we finish up there. But and also things like plants, trees, farm animals, food webs, life cycles. These are all activities that relate to those different things that, those different topics that you're seeing on the site. This is just purely activities, experiments, and investigations. Okay, back to the main index again. So we were just in this area. There's also animal tracks, coloring pages, connect the dots, drawing, graphic organizers, hidden pictures, labeling pages, and you can use the labeling pages as if for assessments. So essentially, these are labeling pages for anatomy, but we have labeling pages for all the different animal groups, for habitats. See, these are just straight labeling pages. So labeling pages can be used for assessment. Coloring is more just getting to know the animals kind of thing. We also have word searches. So you can find a word search for almost every animal group and habitat. And you can see we do it with 3 age levels. So if you're looking for insects, you can find a word search for primary, middle, and then high school and older. And the answer sheets are included under the well, this one doesn't have the answer sheets, but let's look back and see where the answer sheets are. Generally, the answer sheets are right with them. I'm going to have to check on the insects. There it is. So, oh, that's printing more info. Oh, I see. When you print them out, all 3 of them come up, but you only have to print the one that you want. Look at those answer sheets. Okay, so oops. I'm just going to click on one more. Huh, interesting. Okay. Okay, back to the index. So as we scroll down to the bottom, we can get a whole array of human anatomy. Depending on what level you're looking at, they have a different section for different age groups. So here are body parts and actions, which obviously varies for different ages. So this is for the youngest group, and then we have a little bit older view, and then a little bit older. So you can get a whole array of activities in each section for different age groups. Okay. I'll click on the index. I'm just going to log out and log back in again. I think that I'm logged in as an individual and not as a teacher, which is why I'm not seeing the answer sheets. So let me go back in as a teacher. Now, when you are logged in as a teacher, students at the schools, when you're a school subscriber, can't see the answer sheets, but teachers can. So when we click on these, I'm going to just click on those word searches again. Click on the African savanna. And there's the key. Yeah, I was logged in as a student in the other one. So when you click on the key, it just brings up the key that the students can't see when they're logged in as students and not as teachers. Before we run out of time, I want to spend just a couple minutes on the Next Gen Science standards. We have them broken down by grade because that's the way they do it with Next Gen. And I'm just going to click on first grade to start. So it gives you, these are the 4 life science and physical science and earth science standards. I'm going to just click on one. We specialize in life science and earth science. And so we don't really have a ton of physical science, on the site, but there is some. And this shows you right off what you get with the standards is it gives you the exact standards. This is structure and function, growth and development, information processing. It gives you the performance expectations, and then a template for kind of how you can fulfill them in the classroom. These are all the links to things on the site that will help you fulfill. These are introductory activities to assess prior knowledge. simple activities, new knowledge with text, models that can help understand the concepts, experiments, activities, and model making related to the topics, and then a really expanded description of what the Next Gen Science Standard is, so you know that you're fulfilling that. And you can even print out the little model of that. But the key factor about these broken down standards is that we have a full curriculum bundle that can help you fulfill it. If you're not a subscriber, you can look at the preview, but as a subscriber, you just click on it and you can see up in the corner here, it's 39 pages of content that will help you fulfill these standards. Here's a list of what's in the bundle. Here is a, just a description of the actual standard, a rubric building resource. And then you can see this is first grade, so the content is read aloud to your students. As they get older, they can read it themselves. It contains diagrams to help them understand the concepts, and then matching to help see how well they comprehended what they're learning. The standards are on every page. There's an answer sheet for everything, so you don't have to deal with that. It's always in there. Very simple kind of letter answers. Easy, for first grade, they don't want to get too complex. A lot of color diagrams for them to try to understand. More reading, more matching, always answer sheets. So this is 49 pages that relates to this topic to help you fulfill that for first grade. I'm just going to go back. Okay, so next I'm going to take you to a little bit older age group. I'm going to just click on Next Gen Science Standards, so this will give you all of them. So I'm just going to click through, before we go to middle grade, just third grade. A little bit higher reading level. These are the exact standards that Next Gen has for them, but they are at this point a little bit able to read on their own. So this bundle has things that they can read, but still the same setup: new knowledge, all the links, all the models, and all the standards that you can use in your, teaching development. And then here, the whole curriculum bundle. Moving on to 6 through 8. Oops, didn't mean to go all the way back there. Moving on to 6 through 8, there's a ton of content, so 6 through 8. These are all the standards for 6 through 8. And if I just click on one, you can see it's a much higher reading level, but still the same concept, a full curriculum bundle. This curriculum bundle is 52 pages, so that's a lot of content that you can use to fulfill these standards. And there's the standards listed there. I'm not going to go through the whole bundle, but it's a lot of content for you. And then again, links. This is very similar setup to the primary school, but with a little bit higher level, obviously, for 6th through 8th. I'm going to also look just for a second, high school. High school is very high level, reading level, and much more complex, obviously, for the age group, but a very similar setup, so you can be familiar and understand, in a similar way what you're looking at. Here's a list of the core ideas, the performance expectations, some of the links to get you through the different content, models, experiments, activities, and model making, and of course the full curriculum bundle for that, in this case 47 pages. So there's a lot of content there to get you through those different Next Gen Science Standards for life science, earth science, and like I said, just a little bit of physical science. We don't do a lot of physical science here. Okay, I just wanted to step back to the anatomy one more time. I'm just going to click on one system, one body system, just so you can see what you're looking at. So these are highly illustrated content. So if you are working on the digestive system, you can click on one of the topics. This is the structure and function with diagrams. And this allows you to develop your own curriculum at whatever age group. So even if you're working with younger students, this can help you understand exactly what you're looking at, and also have some diagrams with which to share with your students to help them understand where things are and, you know, just some different things that visually can help with that. Now that's a pretty high level. I just want to show that there's also younger level, because there's some pretty advanced stuff with digestive, but there's also the basic stuff for young kids too. Things are taking a little bit longer to open today because we're actually doing some work on the site. So this will be running faster later. Oh, this is higher level too. This is pretty highly illustrated stuff, but there's a diagram that kids can look at to see the different sections of the digestive tract. Okay. The other thing before we run out of time I want to talk about is that you can always find things in the search window. If you just put in anything, cells, and hit search, it will bring up everything on the site about cells. So this is all the cell content on the site and the different things on those areas. So essentially, if you click on cell organelles, give us our cell organelles. It'll tell you everything about cell organelles. There'll be a diagram, there'll be more information, there'll be facts, and then links to move you on to things about cells. So this search window is a really effective way to find anything you want to find on the site. I'm going to just click in photosynthesis again. It'll bring up everything on the site related to photosynthesis. So that's a really helpful thing to use. The other thing is, as a school subscriber, you can access everything in the store for free, the downloadables, not the physical books. So if you click into this downloadable section that has all those bundles, you can add them to your cart. And if you have logged in with your email that is related to your subscription, you can just click on the cart and then obviously I've been doing this before. You can just move your way through, and it will, because you're using your email that's related with the site, it will give you a zero out. You know, it's not zeroed out for me because I haven't logged in that way. And you can just proceed to checkout, and all of those downloadables will come to you for free because they're part of your subscription. So that's kind of cool. So everything in the store that is downloadable, you have access to as a school subscriber with your subscription. Individuals, you know, have to buy store things, but everything in the store is also on the site. So essentially, if you see something in the store that you want, you can put it up in the search box and it will bring it up, and you can find it in the store. I wanted to just make sure there's no questions. If anybody has any questions about anything they've seen, I'm happy to take questions at the end. Otherwise, I'm just going to finish up with a few things, and then I will post this on the site so you can go to it anytime. I don't see any questions, so I'm just gonna finish up with a couple of things. Make sure I got everything. Okay. The other thing I just wanted to point out is if you are looking for activities that are not straight science, but you need time in the beginning of class or the end of class or in between things, there's a whole section here that relates to that. In other words, here are mazes that, you know, are just funny mazes related to different animals. So that's one of the things that's a time distractor. But there's also things like the word searches we looked at. There's hidden habitats, so they can, you know, look at habitats and search for things. This obviously isn't scholastic, but it relates to the topic, and so it's kind of fun for them to have for a few minutes. So let's say you just finished a topic on the desert. They have a few minutes left over in class. They can do a desert hidden picture and find all those things and color it if you want. So it's just one of the BOCES asked me if I had like they didn't call it time wasting, but essentially just a couple of minutes of extra things that they could have. And this is what I recommend is to go through and look at these different things underneath the activities section. Connect the dots, coloring, obviously, and animal tracks and things that relate to that. And I'm just going to click on the coloring pages and the drawing pages. They can learn how to draw any animal as well. So these are just the coloring pages, and you can see how many sections there are, and under the sections there's many, many. Okay, it's telling me my time is just about up. So so if you guys don't have questions, I'm going to wind this up, but I'm happy to take questions later. And if anybody wants for coming today to get a coupon code to get some extra things, you can go ahead and use it. I'm not going to say it over this because it's going to be recorded on the site, but just email me and I'll give you the coupon code for like $25 worth of downloadables just for fun. Thanks so much for coming. I am going to turn off our record.